Welcome back. And every 11th of October, the International Day of the Girl Child is marked. In fact, from Friday last week, I've been having this discussion beginning on radio where we've talked with activists and people who have been involved in ensuring that the girl child in the country gets a better deal. Like we talked about in the introduction, the girl child in Nigeria has a very horrible, horrendous deal. It's highlighted by abductions and rapes and kidnappings, and it goes on and on. The northeastern part of the country, the ones who've been hit the most have been the girl child. Those who are out of school, more than half of those numbers, 12 million or thereabout, the female, and then it's horrendous. So today we're going to look at what is happening, see what people are doing also along the sidelines to make this country a lot better for the girl child. Digital generation, our generation, is the theme for this year's event, and we have with us, always a pleasure, Nina Ofia. Nina Ofia is a campaigner, girls, child rights, who's an engineer. Thank you very much for joining us this morning on NEWSHUB. Excellent. And she's joined in Abuja by Nikki Onyeri, who's the president, Women's Strategic Think Tank Initiative. Thank you very much, Nikki Onyeri, for joining the conversation this morning.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful for being invited.
Brilliant, brilliant. We're going to get to Abuja shortly, but let's begin with Lagos here. And this is something that I'm sure is dear to you because you've been on it for several years, and I can imagine that it's a long, long way to go, but at least you started something already. And today provides you the opportunity to reflect on the things which are being done right and the things which we still need to work on. So what's the picture before you of the Nigerian girl child?
To be honest, the girl child has come a long way. So much has been done for the girl child, but there is still so much more to do for the girl child. It seems to me that the first thing that would come to mind is that the first impression the girl child gets is, I'm a girl. And so there are many things that I cannot do and I cannot get because there's a responsibility to the home for me as a girl child. And so you see, many girls don't always step out to do what they have to do, especially because they have this obligation to the home. And what we have been asking for and what we are suggesting is that the girl child should be told, there should be a new orientation, a reorientation, that you have the world in front of you and you can do just anything you want to do.
All right, thank you so much. Now let's go to the next, let's cross over actually to Esther Anko-Korenta at this point in time and say, it's a day that many girls look forward to, especially those who are in the know of what the significance it carries for them. What's your view of where the girl child is, especially in Nigeria today?
All right. Looks like just Nikki was there.
Oh, okay. All right, Nikki. Apologies. Nikki is there. All right. All right, Nikki Onyeri is the president, Women's Strategic Think Tank Initiative. Apologies for that. So nice to have you on the program. So let's talk about where the Nigerian girl child is today.
Yes, let me start by not only thanking Silverbird for this wonderful opportunity, but also for thanking the man behind Silverbird, who has been a champion of women and the girl child education. Today we know it is being called, the theme is digital generation, our generation. Who exactly is the girl child? Before we get to the girl child, you have to talk of the baby girl. It's the baby girl who is born that grows up to become the girl child, and it is the girl child that grows up to become the woman. And for me personally, I think there is need for this triangle to all work together, including the family unit and the society, to be able to drive this agenda. Today we are celebrating the girl child, but there are so many issues the girl child is facing, especially not just in our country, but around the world. And I think that's why the world came up with the STEM education, which is science for S, E, T for technology, E for engineering, M for mathematics. These, as you can see, are issues that scares the girl child. So right from beginning, when the child is born, there is need for us to work in the family unit to start disabusing the mind that there are professions, there are subjects that should be for the boy child and some for the girl child. I know that in some family units, the girl child is given away for early marriage. That's another minus for us. Sometimes insecurity, kidnapping, the girl child is subjected to that. And other forms of societal issues like rape, violence, and so on. But we have made some giant strides. We cannot say that we're not moving forward. Nigeria needs to be celebrated. We are taking steps, but it's not enough yet. So there is still a whole lot we can do. The light is there at the horizon, but we need to work harder.
Digital generation, our generation, in case you didn't know, that is the theme for this year. Now, many people would think about the fact that, what are we talking about? Digital opportunities for the girl child. It is open to all. Once you can afford data, you can have access to the internet, then all you just have to do is to ensure that you go and learn about how to use this. So how come people are saying that the girl child is being marginalized or is not being given equitable opportunities as the boy child? What's your understanding of that?
I would not want to look at it against the girl child and the boy child. I want to look at it against the girl child in Nigeria, in Africa, in the world, in the rural areas of the world, and in general. In many parts of the world, having access to the internet has become normal. On the streets, you have internet. But let's look at Nigeria. It's not so. We don't even have, for the girl child in the urban areas, we don't even have as much access to the digital world like the rest of the world before we even get into the rural areas. And so you see the great divide in opportunity. Many people who are girls are in their homes, and we know that internet is not something that in our world is open for everybody. It is particularly luxury. And so if you're not in that class or that elite class, you are not able to have this opportunity and this opening. And so for the average child, for the average girl child, you would see that having access to the internet is something that is a big deal. I want to draw us back to the COVID era. For some children, for some girl children, they were able to go to school. But in many places where they even had access to school, they couldn't go to school because they couldn't connect online. And we know we couldn't have physical contact. So it's even a big deal to get children into school. And then when we get them into school, they are not able to have the access to the internet. And now we see how everything happens in the internet. On the internet, people learn, people earn, people lead on the internet. And if the girl child does not have this because it is not available to everyone, I believe that the internet should be free for everyone. And that's what we're asking for. I don't think it's a big deal. I think it's something we can work on as a government, as a people, to make sure that what the girl in Nigeria has is what the girl in Europe has, is what the girl in Asia has. And by the time we are done reorientating our girls, they will see the need and they will see the opportunities that abound. It's so much. But if they don't see, how will they take it?
Absolutely. If they don't see, how will they take it? Phenomenal question there. International Day of the Girl Child, Digital Generation, our generation, the theme for this year's observance. And like every other observance, we love to distill and have all 360, the discussion on different angles. And in Lagos, we're still with Nenofia. Nenofia is a campaigner, a girl child rights. And in Abuja, we still have Nico Nyeri, who's the president, Women's Strategic Think Tank Initiative. So what do you think strategic in how to get out of this problem? The different parts of the country have different problems. Nina talks about digital divide for girls in the South. But interestingly, where you're based in the north central, Abuja is center of the country, and closer to northwest and northeast than we are here in the south. The problems are huge. Either the girls are being chased out of school by terrorists or what they call bandits or insurgents, I don't know what call all of them terrorists, who have their official policy as backward and as horrendous as it is, asking that girls not attend schools, and they have made bold their threat by abducting those girls like we saw in Chibok and Dapchi. This goes on and on. You have state governments that have refused to take action in saying that if you are not over the age of 18 or 21, you do not get married. They still have encouraged girls, I can't even call them marriages, they're forced unions that you've had across the northwest, north central. You know, we have to be blunt about this, and that's where the problem majorly is so far. What have you seen that has inspired your confidence that things are looking up, or you think people are still foot dragging on this very important issue?
Thank you. I think let me start by giving a shout out to 3 incredible young ladies that we're mentoring, Dr. Sefia Musa, Chisom Okafor, Desu Ngiyef. These are exceptional young women who are bridging the digital divide. And what we're saying, yes, sometimes it looks like we are not taking the necessary steps or we are not making headway. But like I said, there is hope. When I think of when I was growing up, there was nothing like digital. Nothing. But the young ladies now, yes, people in the rural areas, they don't have access, so we still need to find a way to create access for them. But the people who are in the urban areas, they can access some of the digital things that are available to them. For instance, the U.S. Department of Commerce said that the growth that is resulting from digital generation is at 24%, whereas other aspects of the economy is generating 4%. Of course, we know who are the richest people in the world. They have one thing or the other to do with digital generation. Yes, there are certain things ongoing, not just in Nigeria. You have the insecurity, you have the violence against women, female genital mutilation, and the rest of them. Some of these things, yes, they raise red flags for the girl child. But I know that with the work of a lot of NGOs on the field, the international community, the Nigerian government, the Ministry of Women Affairs all over the Federation, I think we're taking those little steps, but very, very important steps, especially the necessary legislations that are here ongoing at the National Assembly and State Houses Assembly. You mentioned earlier, I think there was some laws passed in the northeast or northwestern states of Nigeria about that girls should not be given out for marriage until they are at a certain age. This, we believe that not just passing the law, but can we imbibe this and make it something that is part of our lives. These young girls, because they're exposed so much early to marriage, end up with health issues, which all of us know that it is hindering them. But like I said, the country is taking little steps, but very huge steps. The individuals, the society, the family, we appeal to you to also get engaged. The girl child is an asset. The girl child is an asset. The girl child is an asset. Please bring them into the discussions And we believe there will be a whole turnaround for our country. Thank you.
I just wonder what the role of the family would be in mentoring the girl child towards getting using the internet responsibly. Because when you have access to the internet, you have access to the digital world, and you expect to do the right thing there, but you don't. How do parents, guardians, teachers at society really guard and guide the girl child towards using the digital space responsibly?
I think that issue starts from the family unit. And we have to do a lot of advocacy to the Ministry of Education so that we can partner, and I mean the civil society, can partner with governments, especially for the schools, and then work with the women groups also, to be able to bring on board the family unit, especially the mothers. Because most times, especially in the African setting, you find that the fathers are mostly out looking for how to support the family, and the moms are the people staying with the family members, especially the girl child. So the mothers equally need to be brought on board. I know from experience, sometimes some of these issues we're talking about, the mothers create the barriers also. If you go in and you want to educate them, they'll tell you, no, I'm after my daughter getting married. But we need to bring everybody. The family unit has to be fully engaged. Then in the aspect of having some control, yes, I have a feeling about some control. There must be. At the age we are talking of the young girls, do we give them a free ride to have access to everything? And you know they are curious. So sometimes that's how they get ensnared in some of the terrible issues that we are preaching against. So there is some balancing we have to strike. There must be some sort of control that government has to put up. Then there must be some controls that the parents, especially the mothers, who stay mostly with the kids, have to put up also. And that's the only way we can also be sure that these young girls are not exposed to a lot of the bad issues that are going on in the digital world. But because we have bad issues there, are we going to say we are not going to take up this? No, the world has moved on. Digital is the way for the next world that we're talking about. And what we're saying is that we must embrace it with everything that we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. I saw Nena really, reacting to what you were saying. You want to react to how responsibly we can ensure that our girl child, for instance, use the digital space?
Yes, I want to put the responsibility on the parents. While we make excuses all the time for the fathers that they are out looking for food for the family, we know that in our world today, many mothers are also out. But this is a collective responsibility of the parents. And if we put both of them together doing it, it's always easier than when one person is doing it. So let's not always remove the men from taking the responsibility for their children. When the fathers step in, the difference is always clear. So we're calling on fathers everywhere to step up and protect their girl child, to show them the dangers that are on the internet, because they know too, so that it's balanced this way, not just on the women or more on the women.
Absolutely. It's instructive to look at it in that way. I think it was, I can't remember which of them, was it Esther or I'm not too sure now, who talked about the fact that you have the politics involved. I mean, look at how long it took a lot of the states to get involved in the Child Rights Act. You had it at the federal level, and it took over a decade or even more for some of the other states to even come at par to get the child rights domesticated in their states. But then, if you look at the bigger picture in terms of the politics of the whole thing playing out, especially with the girl child, people have asked and said, if you don't even have women, for example, represented, Nigeria's got the worst record of parliament or women in parliament across the entire world, not even just in Africa. Yes. And it keeps getting worse with every dispensation at the national level, even at the state level. How do we fix the politics in making sure that we can get the women even in the National Assembly, for a start, and then in executive positions at the politics to be able to, because you know the saying, if you don't know where the shoe pinches, or most times it's the women who can push forward the advocacy with the issues that affect the women and the girls.
I think the first thing that we need to do is to begin to look for a political scene where there is transparency. Many of the meetings that are held when women, responsible women, cannot meet. If the meetings are held in the night, and you see a responsible woman going out in the night, she's going to be called names. First of all, she's going to step back and say, should I and should I not? Should I try? How is the world going to perceive me? And so we want a transparent system where people are invited to the table because of what they have to offer. We have to love Nigeria enough to put Nigeria first and let the best man, the best woman do the job. There are many women who are great in their field of study, but we don't let them have the opportunity to say something. We had a flooding problem in Lagos, and I was just wondering, are there no engineers? This town was properly planned. What is happening? So we need to start putting the best person to do the job, and not just thinking of Nigeria as a place where we choose people based on ethnicity or based on relationship or as a payment for a favor.
What are your thoughts on affirmative action?
So while the women are doing what they can, it's important for us to understand that no matter how much we say, yes, we can. Yes, we can is good. But no matter how much we say, yes, we can, if the opportunity is not there, if there's no level playing field, yes, we can will just be words.
Amazing. I think the same question should go to Esther at this point in time. The affirmative action has always been what women, let me say gender activists, have always pushed forward in calling for the rights of the women to be given to them, or to be allowed to really gain access to those things.
Talk to us. This is International Day of the Girl Child, and we'll have this again happen next year. But to the millions of people who are watching us, what will your final thoughts be?
Yes, let me say that, start by saying that we are indeed, Nigerian women are very indeed grateful to the National Assembly, the leadership, for the bill that they are considering now, which I think has passed the second reading. For inclusiveness, this is the way the world has gone and is going now. We've done a lot of work at the Women's Strategic Think Tank in the in the Eastern African countries, Uganda, Rwanda, and the rest of them, and they're doing so excellently well in including women. In fact, in Namibia, it is 1-to-1, which is 50-50, women inclusiveness across just not the governors, but also the elective posts. In South Africa, Lesotho, and the rest of them, we have women who are speakers of parliament. And we are telling people that please open up your doors. Women are an asset. They are mothers. That when we fully engage in governance, in elective position, I strongly believe that we have something to bring to the table. That is why the National Assembly, the law that considering now, about 35%, and also special seats for women is something to applaud. That should be an entry point for women. Even if we say it should not be there forever, let us start with that. That will get us the opening to get engaged. And I believe that if this necessary law is passed as quickly as possible, and we are appealing that our president also, when that law, if it's passed at the National Assembly, which we all lobbying, that we appeal to him as a father with girls as his daughters, that please let him sign it and give us this opportunity. Nigerian women will never fail. That's what I'm assuring Nigerians.
Thank you, Neo Yeri, President, Women's Strategic Think Tank Initiative. We thank you for your time and your thoughts on NEWSHUB today. Thank you so much for being part of the program.
Since Nina, off here, you have the closing.
Okay, so I would like to say to the girl child that you have the whole world ahead of you. There is so much opportunity. There are scholarships, and like they say, you're not invited to the table, build your own table.
Absolutely. I like that. All right, so thank you so much, Nina. There's Engineer Nina off here, campaigner Girl Child Rights. So thank you so much for your time and thought. Always nice to have you on the program.
Excellent, excellent. I hope that when we come back next year, we put out all the different developmental areas for the girl child. We've seen a lot of improvement in education, health, economy, and the politics. Very important.
As well.
So that we can then have a full discussion. I don't know how it feels. You have 100 people in a room, only, and 90